Welcome back into CBS Sports HQ. So it wouldn't be the NBA draft without a little drama. And this year, that comes in the form of Rutgers star Ace Bailey. Was considered at one point to be a top 3 prospect. Maybe he still is. However, he decided he didn't feel like visiting teams, refused to meet with a handful of teams, straight up canceled his visit with the Sixers. On a new episode of Paul P. with Paul George, presented by Wave Sports and Entertainment, PG-13 sounded off on the situation.
He hasn't worked out for any team. So, like, I don't.
One team?
No.
That's crazy.
He hasn't worked out for any team. Yes. So, I think they made a big deal because we were scheduled to work him out, and he canceled the day up. But he hasn't worked out for any team. But, you're not in a position to be making, those demands. You know what I mean? Like,
not
make
even
it to the
there
league
yet.
first.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what
not
I
even
mean?
there yet.
All right, some yays or nays. There are a lot of nays when it comes to the Ace Bailey situation. We're back here going 5 wide. Our NBA expert, Ashley Nicole Moss. I'm going to skip over Doyle here for a second. Our draft expert, Mike O'Donnell, who knows every single prospect in this draft. And I was told that Tim Doyle is our bridge, our comedic bridge, but still knows all.
I'm the mediator.
Would you agree with that?
I'm the mediator, okay? I'm going to figure out who's right during this.
Oh, wow. All right. We'll have you be the judge.
And the jury, apparently.
There you go. So let's start with Ace Bailey here. Paul George saying, look, he doesn't like it, the way he's gone about it. What do you think about the situation? How do we evaluate him today?
I agree with Paul George completely. And Tim and I had this conversation earlier today. And I said, look, I can understand that maybe he wants to go to a team where he's going to play more. When you talk about the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, there's not enough ball to go around, and maybe he's not going to get the playing time he would in a Washington or the Brooklyn Nets. But I believe that just out of respect for the process and the players in the league and the teams in the league, you still go through your due diligence. And there are guys who are Hall of Famers. There are guys who have won championships, and they have all gone through the interview process. They have all gone through the workout process. So you are not above that because you choose to be. And I think that the mistake that he is making is thinking he is better than the process, because at the end of the day, when you go into the professional league, when you play in the NBA, nobody cares what you did in college. Like, you won a championship in college, that's cute. You were a star in college, that's cute. You're at the bottom of the hierarchy.
You keep looking at Mike when you say that. I don't know.
I'm looking around the table. Like, when you come into the NBA, you are at the bottom of the hierarchy. Like, nobody cares what you did in college. So he's coming in extremely talented, and I still think he goes top 10, top 5 because of that. But the narrative and the attitude surrounding him and not going through this process is just not a good look for the guys he's going to be sharing a locker room with.
Yeah, I agree. It's not a good look. You know, what's interesting, though, is I think he's a perfect fit for the Sixers.
Right, I agree with you, too.
And everybody's going to say, well, he's a great shot maker. When I watch him, I see a lot of Rashard Lewis in his game. And if you can pair up, you know, a Rashard Lewis on that 76ers team, that's a really, really good system. They're going to look, oh, he's got almost a 7-foot wingspan. He shoots just over 34% from 3. He's a 3-point shooter. But where he's really, really changes the game for how he spaces the floor is he shoots over 50% from the corner 3 spot. And that's the most important position from the 3-point shot in the NBA in the half courts. And I think it completely changes their offense in the half court and how he can space it, because if you can shoot over 50% from 3 in the NBA in the corners, you're going to get paid tens of millions of dollars.
And Tim, I know Tim wants the Brooklyn Nets. Hold on a second. My only thing is, you say Brooklyn, but if you're a young player coming into, let's say you're Ace Bailey and you're coming into the league, right? Wouldn't you much rather learn behind a Joel Embiid and a Paul George than whatever's going on in Brooklyn?
What is this, 1987? You want me to sit behind somebody? No, I want to play now. I respect that he's like, I don't want to go to Philadelphia. Don't draft me. I'm totally fine with that. Then they're not going to draft him. That's why he's not going to go 3. I think he's a top 3 talent in the NBA draft, and he's made his bed, and now other teams are like, oh, maybe we shouldn't draft him. So where do you think he should fall to? And then we can go, where do you think he should go?
I didn't know we were changing our voices in the middle of breaking stuff down.
Well, I just think, like, I think he's a top 3 talent. I think people are scared. I think these teams are scared. They're scared to take him.
I do not think he's the 3rd best player.
You keep saying that,
he's
though.
He's not the 3rd best player in the draft.
Okay,
he's
so
not.
you don't think he's the 3rd best player?
Well, he's a top 8, top 10 guy, absolutely. But if I'm going, the draft starts at 3. I don't think the Ace Bailey is the 3rd best player in the draft. I actually think Trey Johnson's the 3rd best player in the draft.
Even though you like him for the Sixers?
Yes, absolutely, because you're drafting for what you need.
Yeah.
So did Adam had him at 3 as well. So, but VJ Edgecombe.
But he's not a ball-dominant guy.
I don't even think it's necessarily the talent is not the issue. I think teams will be turned off from drafting him simply because you don't want to deal with someone who already thinks they're bigger than the locker room. I mean, look at what Shedeur Sanders just went through. If you want to, equate it to the NFL, we're in a different time in the NBA. The apron has drastically changed the way teams are constructed. The fluidity in the league is drastically different. There are no dynasties anymore. It's anybody's season, any given season. And to have a guy coming into the league who's immensely talented but says, I'm not working out for you, I'm not working out for you, I'm canceling this interview, I'm canceling that one. Like, who do you think you are? You are at the bottom, young sir.
Why wouldn't you work out, Tim? Why wouldn't you work out for teams?
I saw him in person, so I got a chance to see him live, and I was like, oh yeah, he has it. Like, he has that sort of ability to be a multiple-time NBA All-Star, to change your franchise. This isn't football, where we only play either offense or defense. This is basketball, where you play both sides of the ball, and I think he can change a franchise.
Talent's not the issue, though, that we're having the conversation about.
But that's why, at a certain level, if you're a team, you're like, all right, let's go get him. Like, yeah, I get why he's dropping, but like, if I'm the Nets and I'm like, oh, we have 4 first-round picks, like, no, like, go get him, like, make something happen. This guy could average 24 points a game in the NBA.
He's still going to go top 10, and he might go top 5, but it's strictly on his talent alone,
not his personality. Why do you keep making that face, Mike?
Well, I just, I'm trying to decide between which voice I should actually respond to with Tim Doyle, but he's going to average 24 points in the game per game in the NBA. I don't think he's there yet, man, because you're looking at usage rate at Rutgers, where the talent at Rutgers was very, very minimal. This is supposedly second and third best players in the NBA drafted. What did Rutgers do this year? Did he impact winning at all? Did he impact winning anywhere close to what Dylan Harper impacted winning? He's talented, he's good, but is he worthy of being the 3rd pick in the draft? No, I don't think so, even though it is a good fit for what the 76ers need.
It's a fun conversation to have, and I get why he's falling, and I get he's the safe not pick to take him in the top 4, and that's why he's dropping. But we're not going to be able to pay off the story until probably 5 years from now. So let's circle back. Like, it's not going to happen for any of these guys. Maybe with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 of them in their first year. Reed Sheppard was in the G League.
The concern isn't his talent. The concern is, why doesn't he want to work out for teams? Because there's something deeper there. And if it's simply because you don't want to play for certain teams, we have seen guys work out for a variety of different teams, and their agents have come out and said, do not draft my client because he's not going there, but you still go through the process. The fact that he has not even gone through the process, even though he has teams that he wants to go to, not going through the process and not even having that face-to-face time with X amount of teams, to me, is head scratching. Because what is the issue? Why don't you want to do that? Because you can always turn a team off from drafting you. Again, going back to football, we use the Manning example. We've seen the Mannings do it. But you still go through the process and then put your demands out there. The way that this has happened is very odd.
Do you think, and we do want to move on in a second, but do you think that there's a deeper reason other than just a personality flaw or maybe some bad advice?
It could be bad advice. It could be a personality thing. I also think that sometimes guys, their shortcomings as a player is masked by the entirety of a team. And when you work out with a team one-on-one, that is now under a different microscope and a different light. And maybe there's aspects of his game he's not 100% confident in, and he doesn't want to put that on Front Street. I'm not quite sure, because there's a few reasons I can come up with. It's he wants to force his way to a certain team. Maybe he has shortcomings in his game that he feels inadequate about, and he doesn't want to put those on Front Street. Maybe he just thinks he's better than the process. There's a bunch of reasons. To me, none of it makes sense.
The whole thing is bizarre, I will say that. But his talent, I believe, I know Mike and I are different on that, I think his talent is supreme.
All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about the Thunder now. They're your NBA champs. They have 2 first-round picks tonight, and that is thanks to the Paul George trade that went down back in 2019. Feels like forever ago. The gift that keeps on going. Mike, we'll start with you. Who do you think they should target?
The rich get richer here. I mean, when you watch Oklahoma City play, I love the fact that you could add more wing scoring and depth, which is what absolutely terrify, and you're turning into a team that can just go, win, win, win. I think Neek Clifford here at 15 would be an absolutely perfect fit. Neek Clifford could play on any team in the NBA right now because he's NBA defensive ready. And his ability at 6'5", he averaged almost 19 a game, almost 10 rebounds a game. He was an honorable mention All-American in the Mountain West. Ken Palm actually had him rated high higher than Braden Smith and Mark Sears in terms of overall offensive player rating. He has elite shot-making maturity. This is one of my favorite players in the draft, and I think I would love to see Oklahoma City take, because they've been one of my favorite players to watch this season in the NBA. I'm just not just saying that because they won the championship. The way they play on both ends of the floor, their toughness, the competitiveness, man, what a pick be for Nick Clifford there at 15.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to go.
I'm the mediator.
Oh, okay. I was simply going to say, look, Oklahoma is an interesting team, right? Because they're going into this draft and they're just adding. They don't necessarily need anything.
Yeah.
I think that they are one of the teams, a rare team in the position to where anything they add is just simply going to take them to the next level, but none of it's a necessity. I think that what they have currently in their locker room, on their roster, is enough. It's about each of those individual pieces getting better. Obviously, I think that the offense of the Oklahoma City Thunder is too SGA reliant a lot of times, and we saw that in the postseason specifically. There are times where SGA has the ball in his hand, nobody else is moving, nobody else is cutting, and I think that that could also be none of them being in that experience before. The NBA Finals, the lights are bright, and it gets the best of some guys. Now they have that under their belt. They have an entire postseason. They have a championship. I expect everybody to come back more mature. It's also about making sure that their defense stays as just impressive and lethal as it has been this entire regular season and into the postseason. So OKC is just one of those teams that they're looking around in this draft and saying, you're going to make us better, you're going to make us better, but it may not be immediate, and that's okay because we're the reigning champs. We don't need it.
I think the biggest thing with OKC is, and I think we can all see this as fans, they all like each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too.
And so at this point, as you're building up, trying to win multiple championships, you don't want to add in any bad seeds, right? You don't want to add in, I don't want to name names, like a Tommy Tran. Like, he could come in and just like throw a locker room to, I'm kidding, Tommy, we love working with you, but you wouldn't want to add in someone, you wouldn't want to add in an Ace Bailey. That's not the roll of the dice in a fit. So two guys you named make shots, they spread the floor. I think both guys can have long NBA careers. Makes sense.
Well, we didn't even talk about they got the 24th pick as well, and I think guys that can go in and compete right away and make shots at 24, that level late in the first, Liam McNeely would be an awesome fit for OKC at that big value there.
Really quickly before we move on, Cooper Flagg going to go to the Mavs #1 overall. That's no question there. Kyrie got the contract situation worked out. So maybe Nico Harrison's plan finally coming together. We're going to see what it looks like. Yeah, that may be it too as well. With Flagg there and LeBron, I thought it was really interesting. He said he thinks this is a great situation for Cooper Flagg, that he's going to a team with future Hall of Famers on there right now. But the West is so deep. It is so difficult. Tim, we'll start with you. Can this Mavs team compete in the West?
To win a championship next year, I don't think so. But I think they could be a top 6 team in the Western Conference. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Give me the hard knocks. The drama, Kyrie coming back from an injury, Anthony Davis, is he going to stay healthy? Where does Cooper Flagg fit in with all this? Derek Lively's been an amazing story, the journey of his mother, their connection, the way they had to get to the NBA Finals, they trade Luka, now they're trying to bounce back. I think this is like an amazing series. How's this all going to work out? Mike, I have no idea, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Cooper Flagg should be in college this coming season. We forget that he reclassified. And
he should be going to prom tonight.
He missed like 10 days, and he would have been in the class of 2026.
That's right, and he's still got National Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, ACC Player of the Year, ACC All-Defensive Team.
How many proms did you go to, Mike?
I think I only went to one. I didn't dance. I stayed in the bathroom the whole time.
I went to one as well.
Oh, Jenny Dowling went to 2? Because he should be like putting a little corsage on someone's what do you call it?
Their wrist.
Is that what you put it?
It's a wrist. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
He gets a corsage tonight because, you know, he's going into the NBA.
I think Tim said the key word, though, healthy. And I think when healthy, this Dallas Mavericks team is so good. I think that we, sometimes get lost in the sauce of a lot of guys on the starting 5 tend to deal with injuries. You have Kyrie Irving. He's going to miss a substantial amount of time. They're going to have to find a veteran point guard to kind of lead the charge while he's out. Obviously, Anthony Davis is another player. But when this team is fully healthy, this is a great situation for Cooper Flagg. And let's not even talk about the marketability of Cooper in a situation like Dallas. It is gold.
Nico Harrison needed something to get the Mavs back on his side, and I think he's done it. Yes, 2 proms there, 2 proms over here. But we all went to prom. Congratulations. Go us.